Slackers? It's Monday Fun Day. What's going on? Can you hear me? Does everything sound good? Because, I don't know, after last week, or was it last Saturday? I don't know. I feel like it might not work, but let me know how it's going. Sophia didn't fill the fridge again. It's an inside joke when we used to be over at Gigabyte. Let me know if you can hear me or not. I hope so. Yes, all good. So we got from one person already. What's going on, Slackers? Oh, it's Monday. I feel like we had to stream a little bit today at least. And then I'm going to go out on a boat day because it's too nice to... I don't know. It's just too nice. Lately it's been rainy as hell here. It's been driving me absolutely nuts. I went motorcycle riding yesterday on the Duck. And, yeah, let's just say I got soaked at like 8, 9 o'clock. It was ridiculous. Sound and video all good. How is 3990X in the chat? And I have 3990X right here. So what's up, Slackers? What's going on? Sound and video is good. And ThreadRipper's good. So don't mind the bed beard today. I didn't get a chance to clean it up, so I just brushed the hell out of it. So it might be all over the place. Don't hate on my beardness today. It's just the way it is. Joe out here slacking and fixed the white balance and autofocus issues. Actually, what I did is I switched cameras, switched lights, messed with the autofocus a tiny bit. I still need to dive into the mic a little bit. When I changed the whole streaming platform, was it Thursday or Wednesday or when I started? Yeah, I unplugged the whole machine, ran all new wires throughout the whole studio, and what a headache on Friday. So, but what's going on, guys? We got about 28 people on so far, at least on YouTube. There's probably a bunch more on Twitch, but let's get the likes up on YouTube and make sure you're following on Twitch over there. We're going to be doing both for a while. We got to get up on the Twitch affiliate, and then, I don't know, maybe then we'll start separating them a little bit. So, but yeah, we got ThreadRipper on here. I was able to talk to my buddy. I don't know, you guys might know him as Splave, one of the, he might be the #1 overclocker in the world right now. I don't really do the competitive stuff anymore. I just don't have the time for it. Trying to do YouTube and trying to be competitive it's exhausting. I don't have time to barely do the YouTube stuff, so to try to be competitive, it's kind of exhausting because you got to bench and bench and bench and bench and bench. But Twitch is all about them clips. Oh, clink, Sprave. Yeah. So Alan basically is the #1 overclocker in the world. He basically has the current world record on this TRX 40 Tai Chi from ASRock. So I ended up talking to him a little bit this morning. I was telling him about the issues we had on stream the other day, and he gave me a couple of tips that we can try today, and I don't know, see where it goes. So I figured we'd play around a little bit before I end up going and doing a boat day. I was kind of thinking, I don't know, maybe I should do some type of vlog after this, because my buddy's coming up with his son, or maybe his sons, but we're going to go out and take the boat out. It's supposed to be like excellent here today, so I want to make sure I need some slack time, like a decent, like real slack time out on the water. So but that will be after the stream, so we got to focus on this right now. So maybe it's better for VOD content. Twitch is better for streaming. Yeah, that's pretty much what I've been coming around to. So 5 gigahertz maybe doable. Anti-Tux, what's up, buddy? How you doing? Yeah, so one of the issues is, you guys got to think about ThreadRipper. 5 gigahertz on ThreadRipper, think about it. 5 gigahertz on, I don't know, say 11900K is pretty simple. But that's like 8 cores versus 64. 64 cores. So imagine pumping all these 64 cores. I don't know. It's still, I still can't believe we're even in this kind of zone, because even 10 years ago, man, like 6 cores was like, whoa, absolutely insane. So threw up the stream while working. Nice. Veteran Hardware, yo Joe, what's up, buddy? Runava Chatterjee, thanks for the 200, buddy. Appreciate it. Oh, and so you guys know, anything that you guys donate right now, or anything you buy on Bearded Hardware, I'm a little bit behind on shirts, but they're going to be going out this week. This week I'm going to put up a new design for shirts, but all the proceeds and everything go to my late buddy Rocky's family. So if you check in the description on YouTube, there's a GoFundMe set up there. So if you want to donate directly to them, it's to help out the family. He passed away a couple weeks ago. That's kind of pretty much why I had to kill the streams for about a week and a half. I mean, it was a little hard for me. I mean, it's still kind of hard to talk about it. So, but yeah, so it would mean a lot if you do that. Also, if you want to join on Patreon, patreon.com bearded hardware, that's where the Slacker army is. You get access to Discord. It's going to be jumping up from $2 to $5, so get in while it's still $2. So, but yeah, and then like, follow and all that stuff. So let's take some questions before we start going. Man, you guys are really interested in the Windows 11 stuff. Maybe I'll have to do like a short video on it, get it all running and stuff. I didn't have much time from last week to pretty much test anything. Do you think the next TR would have a higher base clock? Most likely, if you were to see a new TR, I think we wouldn't see a higher base clock. We would just see, well, it depends on what you talk about base clock. If you're talking about like the 100 megahertz, probably not. If you're talking about like top clocks, base clock, meaning, I forget what this thing runs stock because this is an ES chip and not a production sample. I kind of forget what the base is on that, but what I expect is the clocks to be higher on the newer one. That's if it ever comes, or because I don't know anything about it. I just kind of joke and tease around, but I don't really have anything good on there. So, Stig, 20 bucks, broski. Slacker time is right. Thanks for donating, broski. I appreciate it. Much appreciated. We got Chef over at, in the Discord. Is awesome, full of friendly, helpful, and knowledgeable people. Yes, the Discord is, so if you want to come and Slack with us and you're building a PC and you don't know what to do, or need some advice on parts, or you're just totally confused on what to do and just want to hang out and have some fun, check out the Discord on patreon.com bearded hardware, and it gives you access to Discord. Sometimes it's a little hard to set up and stuff, but once you get set up, it's amazing. Hold on, let me make sure. I'm trying to make sure. So the temp, I don't know if you guys followed up for the last one. We were having some temp meter issues, so I'm trying to make sure that it's actually syncing up and matching, because I don't want to have to be unplugging it and plugging it. I think it's pretty good. I think there's just a little bit of a delay on the temperature. So, but yeah, we're on Slacker Science right now. So yeah, you guys almost ready to get started? I'm having a little drink here. It's my little fizz. It's what I'm watching to watch the girlish figure, if you know what I mean. Gotta be looking good, you know? But yes. So, yeah. So it's kind of funny. I wish you were guys here. I right before we started the stream, I was trying to get some little liquid nitrogen. I got my 30-liter doer over here. Well, when I went to go into the garage, man, a bunch of bees started swarming me and everything. And I'm like, just going around trying to like see what's going on and trying to get liquid nitrogen at the same time. It's kind of a pain, but yeah, we did it. We got liquid nitrogen. We're pretty much ready. We got a full tank of I think it's like 30 liters. I always forget if it's a 35 or 25. I don't know if you guys can see it, but it's the same doer I have all the time. But yeah, let's I don't know. Let's just get started, right? Yeah, so there's let's talk about the setup real quick. There's something I forgot to mention on stream last time. Someone mentioned on the comments and actually I was like, oh, I wanted to talk about this on stream. So one of the issues with this platform is that it's very, 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 very power hungry when you clock it like extremely hard. So you guys didn't actually see this the other day, but when I was testing on air, when I was taking a little break from the streams, I was hitting OCP, and what that means is overcurrent protection. So what happens is it was pulling too much power to the EPS connectors. EPS connectors are the ones that go to the CPU and power the CPU, right? So Threadripper basically has two, what do you want to call it? Two sockets for power. And what was happening is I'm using a Corsair AX1600i, and what happens is there's a certain limit on how much voltage and current you can provide to the CPU. And what was happening, and it was triggering the OCP on the power supply itself. And what that would do is, as soon as I would do a run, it would just power off completely, and the only way I could get it back on is to turn the power supply off and then turn it back on. So that's one of the defined ways that you know it's either OVP or OCP. For the power supply is when it just shuts off and won't come back on, right? So how did I get around that? So this is what I wanted to talk to you about and why I knew it wasn't the power supply causing us the issues the other day. Now, what I ended up doing is, so an EPS connector is basically split up into two. So what I did is I took two more cables. So usually you only get two cables when you get a power supply, right? I have a couple Corsair power supplies, so I ended up taking the cables over and splitting them. So I ended up splitting each one into two. So you have basically two wires going in to each connector. And what that does is it allows you to spread the current through 4 cables instead of going to 2 cables. And what that does is it gets you around basically the limit on the power supply itself. So yeah, that was a mouthful. My goodness. Whew. Looks like a 6900 XT Red Devil. Nope. We don't have any of the Red Devil stuff. Even though I was looking at that the other day, I was like, I wish I had one, because then I would overclock it and show you guys some real stuff on the AMD side. I was also thinking, I do have a 6900 XT that I wanted to play with, but there's that clock limit. So I was trying to look for that BIOS for that, and I couldn't find it. So if you guys can find that 6900 XT BIOS that Roman put up, I was looking all over for it and I didn't find anything. But if you guys can do that and maybe put it in the comment below, let me know where it is, or I don't know. Let me know where I can find it, and then maybe we'll get onto the 6900 XT train and see if maybe we can beat Roman and stuff like that. So, but that'll be something in the future. We're gonna play with TR now. So, yes. What board is that? That isn't my old board. Antilux. No, Antitux. No, this is the TRX40, the ASRock TRX40 Tai Chi. So this is like one of the beefiest boards that are out. Last time when I was benching Threadripper, I was using the MSI TRX40 Creator. I actually bought this board myself. This is not a sponsored board. I bought this. This is a fully retail board. I bought it because it's basically all the power for this board is extremely well designed. Nick Shee over there at ASRock does a very good job on it. So I figured I'd totally rock the ASRock board. So, but we're still having some issues, and I think it's technically settings related. So, yeah. I don't know. So we're already mounted so much, so we can just basically put the top on and start going, I guess. Oy, I'm talking like crazy. What are you guys doing? It's not a BIOS anymore. The unlocked 6900 XT is tied. Oh, yeah, I'm not sure I necessarily believe that. I've heard several times that people were telling me that it's locked to a certain stepping of chip, and I'm not so sure. But I could be wrong. It just doesn't sound right. Where is that? Oh, there it is. Oh, and I forgot to mention this awesome, sexy pot right here. This is my favorite liquid nitrogen pot. I don't know how many more times I can say it, but I am in love with this thing. This is the Reactor 3.0. I have a link in the YouTube description below. If you want to buy one, now you might look at the price and be like, whoa, that's expensive, but you pay for the engineering in this. I don't have any detailed video for most likely by Wednesday, I think. I'll have a new bracket and everything, and I'm going to have a really good view of this setup, so that way you can see that liquid nitrogen boiling, and oh, it's going to look so amazing. But I'm waiting for something to come in the mail, so that it might be a little bit, so we'll see. But yeah. The pot is definitely amazing as far as how much liquid nitrogen you use. Now, if you're new to liquid nitrogen, it's an expensive hobby. It cost me about $200 per 200 liters. And to be able to sip liquid nitrogen and to cool off, the pot easily makes a huge difference for me. On the older pots, like say all the KP stuff, it takes forever to pull down those pots, because basically there's not enough surface area for the liquid nitrogen to soak. There's only so much surface area. It's more beef than anything. So what happens is you waste a lot of liquid nitrogen trying to get really cold. And what this pot does is it actually allows you to save on liquid nitrogen. Like, you're still wasting liquid nitrogen no matter what, but you're not going to use as much to do like normal functions. Like you're going to be able to pull down really quick. You don't have to wait like 5 minutes before you pull down and waste a lot of liquid nitrogen to get it to a really cold temp, which is really important because usually you want to try to do it as quick as possible, because a lot of the times when you're doing competitive benching, you're going to do like one run and done. You're not going to be doing it like I do where you're basically just running and running and running and running and running. The setup doesn't really like that. It puts a lot of stress on the system, and I don't know, it can be a little bit difficult. So, but I am a huge fan. If you notice, I got these 3D printer tops. I have a Reactor 2 and a Reactor 3. Reactor 2 is awesome too for the smaller stuff. The big difference between this one and say the Reactor 2 is the base. So if you try to put this on Threadripper, it's not going to work, right? Because the base isn't big enough. So one of the big things about TR30 or the Reactor 3.0 is that it's got a really big base. But that's not the only thing that's really different. There's a lot more surface area. So what I mean by surface area is how much area there is for when you pour liquid nitrogen, how much area can you soak up, right? So this one has actually a lot more than even that one, and I was impressed with the old one. They're like, how can you do any better? But sure enough, he did. He wasn't slacking for sure. Killer Hands, what's up, Slackers team? What's going on? Follow Rally, sorry man, I don't know. Hit that like button. All right, Slackers, we got like 75 people on. Come on, get them likes up. I know it's Monday. Everybody's kind of like, it's the start to the week, so let's start your week with some slackness, right? There's nothing like a Monday. To be honest, I really don't like Mondays. I don't know how you are, but me, blech. Not a fan. All right, so I think there's one thing I forgot to do, and that's why I need to plug in something over here. See right here? You can't get anything on the screen if you don't have it plugged in. So let me see if I butchered this, which is probably, oh, maybe not. All right, maybe that's simple. This isn't like yesterday where I had so many issues, or Saturday. Yeah, Saturday was a heck of a stream. You guys don't realize how much I was literally doing behind the scenes, trying to make everything work, so. All right, let me take a breath real quick and see if we take some questions. Wishbone, you know there is a PS1 Sony CPU chip floating in a Spacio in satellite? Space is the ultimate version of LN2. Isn't that the truth, right? It gets really cold in space. No, most people don't realize that. That's kind of funny. Robin 69XT BIOS is nowhere to be seen on his YouTube where he posted it 2 months ago, but it's disappeared. Man, nobody's got that BIOS. So, I don't know. You guys, come on, Slacker Armory. We got to get together and find this BIOS. I don't know. Try to go, I don't know, bum rush to Bauer or something. See if he's going to put it up or something. Oh, woo-wee. Oh. All right, so let's make sure the system's booting first. We don't want to be in that same issue. My nose is running like crazy. It's kind of driving me nuts. Don't mind me. Just going to blow my nose. Yeah, my allergies have been crazy. So it's been raining here, and I don't know. It's an interesting time here in Florida. So what are we up to here? We don't have the hard drive plugged in, and we're pretty much ready to go. So you see the temperature rising already, so that means we're definitely pushing some voltage in here. Oh, my ears popped. Someone's probably talking smack about me. Was it you? Gonna get myself a Heineken. Nice. Must be beer 30 somewhere. Let's see. All right, let's just get started. Oh, that's what I wanted to do. So we had this issue where you guys can't see right. Well, you can't see anyway. Here, let's move this over here. I think it's camera A. Yeah. Yeah, so let me fix this real quick. I want to say, let me just see which one's which. I messed up the entire configuration. It's kind of crazy. I want to say it's this one. Just give me 1 sec. I want to try. I'm having some issues where it's trying to match the outputs, and oh, it is hard coded. So 1420 by 1080. I want to go with device default. Anything? No. Hold on. This is what happens when you end up doing troubleshoots on stream. This is one thing I forgot to do. I think we're just going to have to leave it for now. I'm going to troubleshoot it for next time, because it does not want to play nice. But anyways, so we are able to boot. I am going to change a couple settings. For some reason, the Elgato. Alright. Yeah, like I was saying before, is I got a bunch of tips from Splave. Mr. Spraver. Alan, the #1 overclocker in the world. And let's see. Oh, wow, we're getting hot. So let me get some liquid nitrogen before we toast it. Ugh. Right, we got some juice. Juice is loaded, and you still can't see the screen. Alright, so what we'll do is we'll just boot up. I can't remember what this issue was. It's funny, I've had these Elgatos for like years. And I had them configured, and of course, as soon as I change the configurations, it blows up. But anyways, let's get those likes up, slackers. It's fun to play with THREADRIPPER. Let's get her cool. Oh, it's one of my favorite things is to do that pour and you hear the noise, the boiling of liquid nitrogen. I don't know if you guys can hear it, but just it's music to my ears. Oh, we gotta beat it again. Dun, dun, dun. No, it's driving me nuts. Oh boy, did he drop the liquid nitrogen. The first pour is sexy sound. Yeah, the other thing is like when you have a huge load on there and then you push the liquid nitrogen in there, like you have a running full pot, is one of the other favorite times that we have. So let's have this load up real quick, go into the operating system. And then I'm going to try going to the BIOS. I want to see if maybe the BIOS will come up that way. Because it's driving me a little bit crazy. Alright, so we just booted. I'm going to push the taskbar. We got Ryzen on the taskbar, and let's reboot. Let's see if we can show the BIOS, because I thought we were showing it a little bit. Come on. Yeah, for some reason, the BIOS, you got to understand that when you switch between a bunch of different BIOSes, so if you go from Gigabyte board to like an ASRock board to another board, like there's so much stuff that changes around that it kind of drives you nuts sometimes. Okay, there we go. So I guess it just is having problems detect it sometimes. So let's go over a couple of settings, right? So when it comes down to a bunch of like what we did last time, we have a couple issues, right? So what was happening is like we would pull down to a certain temp and it would just die. From what I was talking to Splave is that you could technically run full pot, and one of the things that he said that we could probably lower a little bit is the Infinity Fabric. Now we started at 1600 last time, and I only brought it down to 1433. So I didn't try 14,000 before, so that's one thing we're gonna try. So we'll try that. There was a couple different things that. Let me just make sure. I'm gonna check my messages because he sent me a couple things. One of the things that I forgot that we talked about was, I don't know if you guys remember when I reset the BIOS that I might have messed up kind of what I had, my configuration. Let's see, Bluetooth on, off. This should be disabled. This should be disabled. HD audio has to be, from what I heard is, HD audio has to be removed. What was the other ones? CPPC. One of the problems I find with this ASRock BIOS is trying to find, like, look around. There's a bunch of stuff that auto. Trying to find. He said a couple different things that I need to change, or to make sure you have it set. Let's see. You guys still see the BIOS? Good. Yeah, I have profiles. The problem is I don't think when I reset my profile last time, I don't know if I actually saved my actual profile I had. And basically probably messed some things up when we went to go. That's probably why we had some more issues. Because when I restored the profile, it wasn't really for liquid nitrogen, and I might have missed a couple settings. So that's what I'm going in here and trying to make sure I see. What was that one? Said CPPC. The problem is there's so many settings in here. Trying to make sure. I have a feeling that 1400 custom piece thing. I'm not sure if that's the one setting. So we did LN2 enabled, SOC mode enabled. So we need to do SOC mode is probably what we didn't do last time. Why is there gonna be so many settings? AMD overclocking, except. So we gotta have LN2 mode on, right? This is where we didn't have it on. So this might have been our problem. Right here, the SOC Encore OC mode. I didn't even realize that this one. One big thing I'm having a heck of a time wrapping my head around is the number of knobs there are in Tweak. Yes, that's one of the issues with CPU clocking is how many knobs you have. But in GPU, you really don't. They mostly do everything for you, so you don't have that many knobs anymore. We did auto. So I think these two we should try. Oh, we're pretty hot at 63. Hold on. Look at that puppy cool down. Remember, I'm at 1.3 volts on regular volts and then also SOC, so it's going to be a little toasty. All right, I'm just trying to see if there's any other mode that I see that might be causing an issue. I don't know. I think we should try with that and see where we go. I think that's pretty much it. I wanted everything I wanted to verify. So let's see. Let's see if it causes any issues. Pod temp is getting high. Yeah, 40 degrees. That's okay, though. I want to make sure that the temp meter is definitely active. I had a couple issues, and I'm not sure where or why. Oh, are we booting here? Yeah. Sorry, it was posting. And you guys can't see. It's weird. So you guys can't see this right now, but I see the ASRock screen, and it's loading up. So there's something weird going on with the OBS or with the capture card. So maybe I'll have to switch back to the EVGA one. Let's see. Let's get the display settings going. I may have to do a reboot with the new settings. Happens sometimes. Let's see. So we're around 17C. Let's keep on going colder and colder and colder. It might be a little bit too hot, so technically we have the LN2 mode enabled, so I'm probably pushing it a little bit more than I should, but can you guys? Okay, good. It's interesting when I reboot, it comes in and does the default. Interesting. It's probably the capture card. It doesn't like ultra low resolution it's being given. Yeah. I could have sworn, though, there was something I did, but I haven't been using it in a while. I was using the EVGA one. That one seems to work pretty well for getting the BIOS there, but I was having issues with the cable more than anything. But yeah, let's just make sure everything's running a little bit. So I'm just gonna do an R20. Remember, this is not we're not at 4.5 right now. This is just basically I just want to see what it's doing. So we can basically just do a run and see what happens. See how cold we can take her. Man, look at that pot. Still. It's like it's not even moving. It still gets colder. That's how impressive this pot is. This liquid, and what I mean by pot is the liquid nitrogen pot. Get your heads at it. This isn't 420, broskies. It says the EVG one is a UVC, if I remember right. I'm not sure, to be honest. All I know is these ones are... I've had some issues with the smaller Elgatos. Usually the 4K 60 Pros work really well. I'm just going to have to play with it. Remember, I reset everything, so it's just a matter of me getting the time to actually go and do it, which I haven't had. I was trying to take some time before we stream, and now I like to do stuff on stream with you guys. You guys are my beta testers, so just how I roll. Oh, cool. Sorry, the meter sometimes auto turns off, but Slacker Fuel has arrived. Yeah, what we're going to end up having to do is I got to end up changing my stream box. So, I don't know if I told you guys yesterday that this chip is going to end up going into my daily box. So, but first we got to get some liquid nitrogen stuff out of it. We got to push it to the limit, see how far it goes, and then we'll retire it to the daily, if you know what I'm saying. So, all right, so let's open up Ryzen Master. Someone was saying that there was an easy way, and he totally said it, and now I can't remember what it is. Hold up, Joe. Played guitar at some point. Yeah, you guys don't want me to play the guitar. It's bad things, man. No, I need to learn. It's just hard with these monster hands. I used to a long time ago, and life gets in the way sometimes, you know. All right, so let's try with 4.5 what we did last time, and that wouldn't run. So maybe now with the proper settings, we can run. So let's see. So we're at about minus 42. See, you guys see that? Gotta take it to the limit. All cores, 64 cores of goodness. So we're clocked at 4.5 right now. Ooh, let's see if it's gonna shut down. Who thinks it's gonna shut down? Huh? I don't think it will. The red cogs. Yeah, the problem is I think I have to install the driver to get all the cogs and wheels looking. Oh, look at that. That's way farther than we got last time. Yeah, buddy, 34,000. So it looks like that fixed our issue. So big shout out to Alan, basically AKA Splave, one of the #1 overclockers in the world. He's an awesome guy. He basically is one of my favorite overclockers. We've done some shows together. We've done I don't know. We went to a couple competitions together. We were in MSI MOA 2010, 2011. We were doing a lot of stuff. We also did the Intel 9900K release for Intel. So some cool stuff. I can't believe it worked. Remember how we ran this like 3 times the other day and it didn't work. So it's nice to see it work. So there you can see set for all cores in one go. Over on the side, you said? Dun, dun, dun. Holy cow. Look at that. Almost 35,000. Woo-hoo-hoo. Man, we're only at 4.5 too. So the whole story is that if you guys remember, I basically went to Gamers Nexus and benched this. Oh, we probably need some voltage now. But actually sometimes memory could be cold. So let's try to take it a little bit colder. Let's see if we can go to maybe like minus 75 and then run again. We got to test out cold because the colder we can get the chip, basically the higher we can push it, right? So what I was saying is at Gamers Nexus, I basically had I had 1 day to bench 64 core. I did bench 32 core and I was benching on an MSI board. But with the 64 core, I never got to 5 gigahertz. And to be honest, it kind of pisses me off because I wanted to do 5 gigahertz. So I don't know. We got to get 5 gigahertz during this stream, and I'll be very, 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 very happy. So let's. Oh, we're running it already. Let's try it again. Let's make sure that wasn't a fluke. Sometimes if you run it multiple times over and over, you kind of need to give it just a little bit of a break. But I think now that we're going a little bit colder, it will help a little bit. What we don't want is for it to just shut down, because then that can actually affect the paste, and then when we got to go through the whole process again, it causes lots of problems, and problems suck. Yeah, buddy. We're about minus 68 degrees Celsius, which is about minus 90. Oh, 34. Seems like it's a little bit lower than the last one, but that's good. Let's go into Ryzen. Let's see if we can jump it up to 4.6. I don't know. We're looking good, man. I see 5 gigahertz in the... It's in the tunnel. I see the light at the tunnel. I don't know. I see that 5 gigahertz. Let's see. Oy, oy, oy. Ooh, I'm just getting excited. Yeah, buddy. Alright, so we went on here. See, there's no red gear knobs, and I think this is because I don't have the VGA driver installed. Where is it? And everybody keeps telling me that they're on a different version, so this could be just because it's an engineering sample. Who knows? So I'm going to do it the old way. I know you guys might yell at me for it, but hey, too bad. It's my channel. I do what I want. Just kidding. You guys know that I love to hang out with you guys all the time. To be honest, you guys make it great. You guys make me want to stream almost every day. If you guys don't know already, we're going to be streaming every other day. So we're going to be on Twitch. We're going to be on YouTube. We're just going to be having fun all week. Technically, it's my off week for work. So I'm just chilling, hanging out with you slackers. But I do need some slack time. So you gotta give me some boat days. You got to give me some time to get out, and boat days don't come very often during this month. If you guys don't know, that this is pretty much like rainy season in Florida, so when you come to Florida, June can be a little wet. What's crazy is it's very similar in Taiwan. So like whenever we go for like Computex and stuff, it's raining like crazy. So I'll end up going there. It will rain for like 2 weeks. I'll come back here, and then it will rain like another 2 weeks. So like 2 months of rain will kill me sometimes. But we haven't had Computex in a couple years, and you know what? I miss it so much. I hopefully next year we'll have that opportunity to be able to do it. It's one of those things. This is the second year that we're missing it, and I don't know. It's kind of depressing because I love to see all the other slackers, and it's just usually a lot of fun. So. Let's see. The memory controller is twitchy. So service provider doesn't like that AMD has protection on its devices. I think you can get it over 5.5. Oh, I don't know. I don't know. It says, whoa, where's this? Sorry, still getting used to these guys. It says, nice, I manage 5 gigahertz. Oh, that's PBO, though. That's a big difference. Oh, what happened there? It did what it did before, and it's not cold. I think we're at CBB though. I'll talk about that in a second. This weird issue where it just powers off sometimes and then doesn't want to come up. I don't know if it's something with the socket tie down. I've had this issue. Of course, this happens before we start going. I don't know if it gets too cold in some areas, but it just seems like this socket is such a nightmare. I don't want to get too much because then you end up starting to build some water. We don't want water. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to heat up real quick. That's exactly what you don't want to happen. So let me just change the view a little bit so you guys can see, because you're not going to see the other one for a little bit. Oy. Yo, so we're not using the heater right now. The reason why I don't want to use the heater is because I actually found out if you have, we're on the stream before, and I'm like, this isn't working. I wasn't sure why. Well, there's a little switch on it, and I didn't turn the switch on. But the reason why I don't want to use it right now is because I wanted to test it without it, because it's actually pulling off the same power supply, and this thing pushes over 1,000 watts. So you add however many watts that are going to combat it. So I want to be a little careful with that. I probably should have ran it, but I'm not so sure. I wanted to just test it to make sure before I go. It's just kind of how I roll. Alright, so we did boot back up. This is weird. So I had this weird issue like this on the MSI board. Anytime it crashes and needs a CBB, which is a cold boot, that means I got to heat it up to a positive temperature, and then I can pull it back down again. So what we're going to do is, since we know 4 or 5 runs now, which is epic, what I'm going to do is start getting it really cold, and we're not going to play around with cold right now. We want to get it cold right away. Right. Get her cold. We're gonna reboot her because that. I wonder if that's actually VGA that I'm having an issue with. You know what? No, I was gonna say cable, but it's not the cable that I thought it was. So that ain't it. Alright, so what up, slackers? What are you guys doing on Monday, huh? It's Monday, fun day. What are you guys doing? What's slacking? We're getting cold here. We're getting frosty. Oh, I love that sound. It's funny that basically, if you were to ask me, like, one of the things why I do liquid nitrogen overclocking, there's just something about this sound. It almost, the equivalent gives me the same feeling, the adrenaline rush, as if I'm taking, like, a motorcycle at, like, 160 miles an hour. Not that I do that, but basically, it gives me that same feeling. So it's almost like a safer feeling, I guess, because I don't know. It's a weird adrenaline rush, and once you start, you get hooked on it. You got to figure, I've been doing this probably 14 years now, something like that. I've been doing it for so long, it's kind of, I've lost track. But every single time that I pour that liquid nitrogen, I always get this adrenaline rush. And the only way that I'd ever get that before is if I'm riding an e-board and I'm doing like 30 miles an hour or 40 miles an hour. Or if I'm doing like a motorcycle and I'm hauling ass. Or if I'm in a car doing like on the racetrack or something. That's the same adrenaline rush that I get when I do this. So this is one of the reasons why I do it. Alright, so we're at 4.5. And we're at 1 point. Let's start bumping up the voltage a little bit too. To 145. And what I'm going to do is keep on getting it colder. Let's get it cold. Hopefully it doesn't shut off. But we're going to do 4,600. Dun, 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 dun. Alright, so we're at minus 40. What's crazy is, like, you guys don't realize, right? You can see the temperature of how much it drops so quick. Like, if I were to use another pot or another liquid nitrogen cooler, dude, we would be here for like a half hour trying to pull it down to just even where it is now. To pull down to minus 50 on the other coolers, just you wouldn't be able to do it this quick. And that saves a ton of liquid nitrogen, and that basically enhances how much time you get to bench, which is another plus, because a lot of the times you run out of liquid nitrogen and you have to stop. So if you're on a record run and you're just feeling it, by being able to use less liquid nitrogen, it actually extends your session. So some of these things that people don't think about, I know people think about money where they think about, oh, that's just too expensive, I'll just get a normal one. But that's what happens sometimes. In the long run, it's going to actually save you cash, so you want to pay for that engineering, and paying for engineering is always good. Dun, dun, dun. Alright, so we're at minus 50. Let's go. I'm hoping we can actually run this like super cold. And what I mean by super cold is like full pot. So that means like a minus 196 degrees. That's what we're going for. If you can do that, then we might actually, you never know, we might actually even be able to break some records. Who knows? But it seems like that one SOC setting that I had turned off is basically the culprit of what we were having a problem with. So we're looking okay right now. And then we're gonna save profile. We're gonna apply. We're gonna open up Benchmate. Oh, this is a little bit loose. One of the reasons I want to just make sure it's a little snug because you don't want to move the pot. When you start moving the pot, it could crack the paste. So I just want to finger tighten them, not too crazy. And hi slackers from, I don't know where that is. All right, so we got 150 likes up there, or viewers. Let's come on, get them likes up, slackers. Sorry, I'm in the middle of it. My concentration is all on this right now. So we're at minus 70 degrees Celsius. You guys can see that. We're gonna check to make sure. Oh, it froze. I was gonna say I gotta switch it over. I didn't realize that you guys were not looking. So hold on. Nope, still having cold issues. I don't know, it might be this chip. So we're at minus 76 degrees right now, and it's causing a couple problems. Was it tried running liquid metal with liquid nitrogen? Yeah, that doesn't work. Don't do that. That's actually the way the proper... Liquid metal does not react well with liquid nitrogen. It basically freezes, and you'll have no contact on the chip. So you most likely will kill your chip. So, highly recommended that you don't use liquid metal. Now for like air and stuff like that, sure, definitely use it. Massive cold issues. I'm wondering if we're gonna have to step down that IF clock from 1400 to 1333. We gotta heat this puppy up. Let us see some BIOS, broski. Yeah, we have a couple issues right now where the BIOS wants to go really low resolution and it won't capture it. If you rewind the stream a little bit, you can see all the BIOS settings that I was setting before. But we're going to go back in there shortly, so bear with me. All right, so we're at, you guys can see that we're in positive temps now. And it helped if I turn the board on. See, and then it boots up. So we're still having cold issues. So we need to figure out how we, like maybe it's a voltage setting or something. So this is like half the battle most of the time, is trying to figure out how you can get the chip cold, right? A lot of the, and every chip is different, so like not everything works for the, well, let me try this. Boot again. Sorry, you're not able to see the BIOS settings yet. So when I am able to get back into the BIOS, where you can actually display it on VGL, switch it back over. Let's see. Let's go to camera A. Yeah, it's not coming up right now. We'll do this view for now. So we're gonna go back in the BIOS. So this is usually a problem, is trying to figure out. I wonder if there's a resolution in the BIOS. Maybe that's it. So like I'm noticing right now is that the BIOS, it's coming up as a really low resolution and it's getting all garbled up even when I see it. So that's why it's not being displayed. So bear with me. I think if I saved my current run and then we go back in, we should be able to see the BIOS settings now. Plus we're at 12 degrees and that thing's heating up. No, still the same. Let's try this. I'm gonna boot up. It almost looks like every time I boot up, so if I boot up into the OS and it keeps it at 1920 by 1080, and then I reboot into the BIOS, then the BIOS comes up. So I don't know, it's a weird issue, but this is the problems with dealing with cold and liquid nitrogen and all that good stuff. You end up running into weird stuff when it comes to cold because properties change at cold. So, like, you never know what to expect half the time. It kind of drives me nuts sometimes. This is the hard part of overclocking, having enough patience to be able to sit and troubleshoot and figure it out. But I like it. So it's kind of one of those things where I do a lot of troubleshooting at work. So it's kind of like one of those things, I don't know. It's like a natural fit, I guess you can say. Torch is faster, but burning propane makes water. Yeah, that's the problem. So when you heat up this pot, basically what happens is water and condensation starts building, and that will actually create a layer that causes some problems, actually. What it does is it almost works as a barrier sometimes. So if there's an ice barrier there, there we go, it finally came up. So it usually creates an ice barrier, and sometimes it will at first it helps with the soak of the liquid nitrogen to the pot, but after a period of time when ice builds up, it actually works as a barrier where it causes the liquid nitrogen not to soak into the pot. So there's a fine line of when you're benching trying to figure it out. But on the different pots, so if you were to use like a KP liquid nitrogen cooler, that happens a lot and a lot quicker. Since this has more surface area, you get around that a lot more. But on his pots, as soon as you get that layer of frost, you might as well just break it down, heat up the pot, because you can't even combat whatever's heating up on the other side. So that's another huge benefit of this pot. So let's not talk about that right now. Let's go down. I'm going to go down to maybe 1333 on the IF clock. Let's see what that does. Oh, you guys wanted to see a little bit. Well, you're doing weird stuff. You're in your element. Yes, for sure. When you benched 5000 series, did you notice a random if clock wall when BDI dims? I can't boot over 3600 mem, but if the clock is like, oh hell, and I'm at a wall of 1800. To be honest, it's been a while since I benched the regular one, so I don't really remember. And I was on the MSI board, which makes it even more difficult. So I was basically, when you switch boards, it gets difficult sometimes because even though settings are the same, they put them in different areas, and it's kind of hard to wrap your brain around it. Like if I was used to the Gigabyte board before, and on the Intel stuff, and now I'm on Threadripper again, and I don't know, it gets so confusing sometimes. It's driving me nuts with these reboots. Oh, has anyone run the new 3D Mark test? That's actually a good one. I actually wanted to run that 3D Mark test on this at some time because it is a CPU test, but I think it only goes up to like 16 cores, so I guess it doesn't matter or something like that. But I don't know. So far, if you're new to the stream, so far we found our issue, what was going on with 4.5. We just ran 4.5. We had a score of Cinebench R20 around 34,000. Actually, almost close to, I think, 35,000. But the thing is, we were running into cold issues, and the cold issues we're running into is once we get to a certain temperature, it's basically freezing the system. So, and the colder we get the system, the higher we can run it. So, I'm trying to figure out the cold settings right now. You can see the temperatures I'm running on the screen. That's actual pot temperature. So there's a probe put on the pot itself, so that way you can actually see and follow along with me, which I absolutely love. All of this gear that I have that I use is from elmorelabs.com. So we have the temp meter over here. That's hooked up to an EVC2, and that's running into my streaming box and then posting it up on here. So that temp meter, if you want to get into liquid nitrogen, good thing to have. Instead of buying a Fluke, those things get expensive. And to be honest, you don't really need a Fluke. These work just as good, if not better. So, all right. So let's see. We didn't change any voltages. Let's go back into Ryzen. I know I saved that profile, so I want to go in there. You know what could have made us freeze too is sometimes Ryzen Master. If I change a setting wrong, sometimes it will cause me to freeze too. So that could have been our problem too. So basically, sometimes it doesn't play nice. So we're at 4.6 right now, at 1.45 volts. So yeah. This might be a Ryzen issue. or Ryzen Master issue. Because I just went to set that and it just basically bombed completely. So that's probably what our issue is, and it might not be cold actually. So I think I caused the issue, which usually happens, but this is what we're going to keep on doing and going through. Can't focus on that right now, but busy trying to figure out what gear is hanging on the wall behind. Oh, we got lots of gear on the wall. You'll be going all damn day from that one. Because Mr. TechOdin's got a lot of tech gear. Too many years of doing this stuff. But I love every minute of it. Alright, so we need to figure out what our Ryzen Master issue is. See, this is the never-ending troubleshooting stream. But it's fun. If Ryzen Master ever opens up. Dun, dun, dun. So I'm bummed. Why can't we get the 4? Maybe we're not cold enough to set 4.6. That could be it too. Last was not stable. We know that. So I think maybe we need to go to about -50. And then we'll set. And then see. Oh, we need some juice. While that's cooling down, let's get some juice. Juice, baby. It's funny, I was super stoked, and then we were losing, and of course it reboots. But still, at least we were able to run 4.5, so that's definitely a plus. So we just need to make sure when we set it, we're a little bit colder. We're about -40. You guys can see too. Alright, so that seemed to have saved. So maybe it was just a cold issue, so we're going to keep getting it colder. Remember, we're only at 1333 on the IF clock, so we lowered it quite a bit. We originally started out on at 1600. Usually what I do is I try to find the lowest that gives me able to run cold as much as possible. And then what I'll do is I'll slowly push it up to see if maybe I can combat. Maybe I don't need that much cold. Maybe I can, I don't know, there's a way that I can try to figure it out, right? Sometimes you'd be surprised, like, depending on what voltage you set, sometimes the cold bug will move. And that's one of the things that it's kind of, you have to really check every knob, and you got to kind of play around. That's why you're not just going to do one session and be done. This is going to be always progress, right? Every time you do a session, you want to progress and keep on getting better and better, right? So, like, even though we failed, we still did 4.5 compared to 4.4 last time. So we're getting there. It just may be a little bit slow, but that's the process you got to figure out, right? So let's see if we can get this a little bit colder. Hopefully, I'm a little scared. Every single time that I get cold, it basically shuts down, and then we don't get to bench. So we're at pretty much -75 degrees Celsius, which is -100 degrees Fahrenheit. We're still going at -80. I'm just gonna keep pouring a little bit. We haven't been able to get this cold. Yeah, see, it's shut down. Ugh. Hands up if you should be doing something important but aren't. Oh, this is driving me nuts. So it looks like we still have a cold issue at about -87. Oh, it rebooted. Oh. So it actually rebooted. I thought I was going to maybe save it. It's working. Maybe it's just, sometimes you'll get these areas where if it's, I don't know, sometimes you'll get a zone, say between -70 and -90. It's causing an issue. But if you pull colder, if you keep going colder, it still works. So, I don't know, maybe we have to do that, because I'm at -107 degrees Celsius, and it's, come on, boot, baby, boot. Oh, come on, boot. I don't think we're gonna be able to. I was hoping we were gonna be good, but we're still having cold issues. So we're at -108 degrees, and it does not want to boot, and I think it's done now. which is lame. So we gotta heat up again. So this is the troubleshooting part. So I think what we're gonna do on the next one, since we can't seem to find the cold bug, is what I'm gonna end up doing is probably pull it down to about -60, -70. I'm gonna heat it up to positive temps because it's not gonna boot unless I do. But when I get to that, I'm gonna pull it back down to -70, and we're gonna keep it around there and see how high we can clock. Maybe we can get 5 gigahertz that way. So, because we definitely have some type of cold issue, and I'm not sure what it is. What's up? What's up, dude? It's good to see you. Just chilling here, troubleshooting. Good to see you too, broski. Oh, ay. Come on, slackers. See if I can boot. Sometimes you'd be surprised when you can reboot. No, I think this one. Still nothing. And we're back at +2 degrees. So what we're going to do is we're going to change it around this time. Maybe I just don't like the cold so much. Yep, that's pretty much how it is. May have to freeze up. Temps are updating. No, oh yeah. It looks like the temps froze again. Let me try to see if I can fix that again. Alright, I think we're back. No. One sec. I think we're good. Yeah, temp's back. Sometimes the temp likes to flake out. I gotta figure out what that is and talk to Elmore about that. And we're gonna reboot. Yeah, there's something with the VGA that's causing this. I think that's causing the Elgato to go crazy. Came here, Nicholas Joseph. Came here for the beard. What's up, broski? How you doing? Water dripping down the pot. Yep, that's why we have a bunch of paper towels, so that way that water doesn't come and mess everything up. So, What time are we at right now? So we're at 2 o'clock. We've been going for about an hour. I might have to shut it down at like 2:30. So let's just see where we can get. We might have to do another. We're gonna probably have to do another stream where we try to figure out this cold bug, because this cold bug is annoying. It's driving me nuts. It could be just the chip. That's just somehow it's funny. 3 years ago, I had actually no, I think it's like 6 years ago or something like that. I had one of those Facebook posts come up where I had this one chip. It was a 4790K, and it was doing it was such a super low voltage chip, and of course it had a cold bug at like -70. Most of those chips at the time had a cold bug around -120, -130, and that chip, no matter what, it was like one of the best voltage chips for Haswell that I've ever seen, but you couldn't run it lower than -70, so it made the chip pointless, unfortunately. I spent a lot of sessions just trying to figure out like what I can do to try to combat that, and no matter what, I just couldn't combat anything. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to raise the voltage a little bit to 1.5. See if that helps out a little bit. We're going to get a little bit cold, so I figure about minus 50. Oh, I got to switch it over again for you guys. Notice we are using a ES sample because this is from AMD. They actually said, "Hey Joe, we want you to slack with this. Do minus 69." You got it. Want to see 5.6 gigahertz. I think the world record on R20 is actually only 5.2. So like R20 is a little hard to run. So I doubt we'll ever see 5.5. Maybe when new Threadripper comes out. Let me see. I need a cup. So when we want to get more dialed in, trying to keep a temperature, using these is a little bit more difficult. So I got my little cup. My little cup helps me to be more dialed in for excellent pours. So if I just want to put a little bit in it at a time, it's easier to do. Because sometimes lugging that for a couple hours and playing around, it gets a little bit tough on the wrists. Alright, so we're about minus 35. I think we'll do about minus 50 and we'll try it again. Says, Bearded Hardware, look at Twitter DMs later. I believe I found that BIOS that Roman used. Ooh, Pyro. I hope so. That would be fun, something fun to do, right? Because we have a lot of stuff to play with. When we get Threadripper going and doing some more with Threadripper, I'm also going to throw in some other stuff. There's a lot of platforms that I have that we can play with. So, I love playing with toys. And then putting liquid nitrogen on them. Alrighty. Let's get those likes up, slackers. So what are you guys doing this Monday? You guys are working. I'm lucky I don't have to work today. Well, I guess this is work, but to me this never feels like work. We're hanging out with you slackers. So let me get me some more liquid nitrogen in here. Make sure. So we're at minus 50. So let's try setting that. So that worked. Let's try getting Benchmate. And what we're going to do is R20. And let's see what it does. So we're at 4.6. We've only been able to run 4.5 right now. We're going to go a little bit colder. I want to say about minus 69 to minus 70 range. Gives me a little bit. It's amazing how fast this pot is. Which is good. We want to be able to go. Hardly working or working hard? I'm slacking hard. Don't forget the heat pad. No, I don't have it turned on right now. We'll use the heater next time. I just want to make sure that I'm not pushing too much wattage, because the heater is pulling off the same. I'm going to have to hook up another power supply to use the heater. It's usually what I do on the KP setup. So, because you could push up to like 100 watts to 200 watts on the heater, and if you add that to 1,000, that's 1,200 watts. So this, I don't want to overdo the power supply. All right, so we're in the 60s. Let's just go with that. See what it does. Did not like it. We could be pushing too much voltage, to be honest. I'm going to back it down to about 1.35. But I don't know. Let's see. Yeah, I'm going to have to dial in this system. Maybe we'll switch over to like a server OS. For some reason I wanted to do Windows 10 and I don't remember why. Now I don't remember. So let's just do 1.375. You shouldn't need this much for Threadripper, so. But you never know. Like I said, every silicon lottery, basically every chip is different. We don't really know, and it shut down again. So these random shutdowns are really getting me. I'm wondering if there's another setting that I don't have which may be causing the issue and not technically the cold bug. Yeah, so we're now at 0, which means we're in cold bug. Or cold boot bug. So no matter what, if I power off and power on without heating up, it's just going to do 0. Oh, look at that. It actually came back. I don't know. Maybe we get lucky. What I'm going to try to do is go in the BIOS, and I'm going to try to hammer some settings. Maybe do a little bit more SOC, because from what I've heard is the SOC voltage actually helps with the cold bug. So how about this? We'll overpower SOC a little bit. I don't know if you're going to be able to see the BIOS, unfortunately. But what I'm going to do is I'm running at about 1.3 volts at boot for voltage and SOC. So what we'll do is I'll bump them up to 1.4 each. Yeah, you're not going to be able to see. So that's basically what I'm setting, though. I have all LLCs set to level 1. So we're doing 1.4. Oh, SOC is already at 1.4. Let's try 1.45 and 1.45. Maybe it's too high of LLC. That could be it. Trying to see if there's anything else I might have missed. I don't know. We're going to have to keep playing. And no boots at minus 60 sounds very annoying for benching even with a heater. Yeah, this is not an easy platform by any means to bench. And it's very chip dependent. There's not much, I mean, there's not much you can really do. It's just kind of fiddle with the voltages, try to figure out your cold voltages, and just try to work through it. There's not much else you can do, you know? It is a little bit, it's a harder type of bench to do than other benches. Like, if you were to take the 11900K, we would be able to do, it's a way easier. Because it's you gotta have, remember, Intel is a plus. They've matured so much that all the bells and the knobs that you can adjust are basically mature, right? So AMD THREADRIPPER, what is this, 3rd gen? This is like plus. Not plus from Intel. So, alrighty, slackers. So let's see what we can. It's around 2:15. We got another 15-20 minutes. I feel like before we're gonna have to shut it down. I don't know. I'm a little disappointed here. I wanted to get some craziness going. And of course. Oh, did I lose the mouse? Nah, still having some issues. Let's try to heat it up a little bit, see if we can get it back. Work, you damn CPU. Yeah, this is a tough spot. Tough stuff. The funny part is where people say, oh, overclocking is so easy. Anybody who says that has never overclocked. Sorry, but that's just the way it is, dude. If you think it's so easy to overclock now, then you're not. Then you just never benched. That's just how it is. Because I see that a lot. Be like, oh, it's so much easier than it used to, you know? How'd I miss the start of the stream? Alex, I don't know, buddy. I don't know. I feel like YouTube doesn't announce it enough. If you guys want to make sure that you never miss a stream, I always put it up on Twitter. So, like, Twitter is the #1. So, you know it's going to... If I put something up on Twitter, that means a stream's happening. So, make sure you follow on Twitter. Because you can't really rely on YouTube. It seems like YouTube, no matter what you do, is always late on it. You know what I'm thinking? I reflashed... You know... I wonder. So, what happened to get all this stream overlay where you can see temperature? Now that I think about it, I've reflashed the framework. Or, the firmware on the temp meter. I don't think I ever calibrated it. So, that might be an issue. So, maybe we're a lot colder than we think we are? I don't know. Sometimes that runs into an issue where I didn't even think about it. Most people have no clue when it comes to Ellen. It's true. Most people think they know what they're doing. Even a lot of the overclockers, like, most of the time, they'll just get the manufacturers to give them all the settings, and they just put all the settings in and go. But trying to figure it out, it's a different story. I'm one of those guys that likes to figure it out. Like if I'm having an issue and I can't get past it, I want to figure out why. And then if someone tells me, "Oh, this setting works," I want to know why. And they don't do that a lot, which drives me nuts. So I end up working on my own a lot more and try to figure stuff out. So, but yeah, let's just see. I mean, I'm gonna try to run 4.6. Maybe we can run 4.6 easier. I don't know. I'm not gonna try so cold this time. Is basically what I'm gonna do. Hopefully, maybe it will run. I don't know. We're running out of time, slackers. So let me see what voltage. So let's do 1.4 and set. We're only at basically like 0C, so I don't know. Maybe we're just too cold. Because what I've actually had this happen before, where one of my batteries went on my Fluke, right? And what happened is it was display. I had one of these world record chips on a 5960X, and this is the Intel version, the 8-core. And I had just been benching. I broke a bunch of world records and stuff, and then I was going through this issue where we were at Computex, we're on stage, and I was trying to figure out when I went to bench the chip. What are you going on here? When I went to bench the chip, every time at minus 60. I would get a cold bug where it would shut off. And I got so aggravated, and I spent like an hour and wasted all this liquid nitrogen. And you know what it ended up being? The batteries went low on the Fluke and basically weren't showing the right temperature. So minus 60 was actually minus 180. Or probably minus 120 or something like that. So the temperature that I thought I was at was not actually what I was at. And basically, I don't know, I was worried because I thought I'd killed my chip or I degraded my chip and maybe I caused issues with the chip, but it wasn't me. It was actually the Fluke. So it could be that my temp meter is not calibrated and we have issues. So it must require a lot of patience. Yes, I think that is an understatement. Overclocking, really? If you want to be a badass overclocker, patience is key, man. Patience. Alright, so we're at minus like... Okay, let's get over so you guys can see. I need to get that stream box working. I haven't even looked at it. I meant to get out the other day and I just haven't. Oh, it looks like my buddy's here. Alright, so let's just run and see what happens. Nope. Boo! No, that's an Elmore KTH. What Flukes was that? Fluke is a... Here, I'll show you the Fluke, actually. So instead of buying, like, say, a Elmore Labs KTH temperature, which I highly recommend, they're dirt cheap compared to these. These can run anywhere to like $100 to $120 used, and new they're like $200-300. So I have like 3 of them just from I've had these for years, and now I replaced all of them with the KTH meter from Elmore Labs. So check it's in the description on YouTube. Make sure you guys check it out, elmorelabs.com. He's an awesome guy. He's worked for Asus for a good amount of years. He worked for MSI for a bunch of years. Overclocker, now he does stuff himself, and he has his own stuff now. So, highly recommend it. I'm just going to set 1.5. We're going crazy voltages right now because I'm, like, so irritated with it right now. This is what happens sometimes. My patience are wearing thin, I guess you can say. So, let's see. I'm just going to dump some LN2. We're at, like, minus 20. And let's just see if it runs. I'm curious to see what wattage we run. This is like forced clocking. Whoa, look at that! Yeah, buddy! Woo-hoo-hoo! Almost 35K. Here, let's see if we can run it again. I want to see how much wattage is. Oh, 1,300 watts. 1,300 watts. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo! That's amazing. Yes! So we got 4.6 right now. Let's see if we can bump it up real quick before it goes bad. So we're at minus 35 degrees. Maybe we'll go to minus 50 a little bit. We might be actually a lot colder. That could be our problem that I didn't even think about. It's always something. Always something. And we only got about maybe like 10, 15 more minutes, slackers. So let's try to like push it a little bit more, right? Almost there. I gotta fix this Ryzen Master thing too. I think installing the NVIDIA driver should help. Try to do at least 4.7. Hey, I'm happy actually even with 4.6 right now because we moved on from 4.4. We couldn't get 4.4 last time. Now we're on to 4.6, and now we're gonna go to try to do 4.7. So what I'm gonna end up having to do, maybe I'll do like something short the next day on how to calibrate the Elmore Labs KTH, because I completely forgot about that because I had to update it to a newer firmware so that way I can do the stream overlay for you guys. So technically it's your fault. Just kidding. Definitely my fault. Usually is. I'm used to hearing that. Let's see. So we're gonna do 4.7. We're gonna keep the same voltage. I can't believe 4.7 on 64 cores. Like that is just amazing to me. All right, so where are we at? Hold on, I think my buddy. Let's see. All right, so let's try it. We're just gonna try to hammer some clocks in. We're gonna keep pushing it because it's probably eventually not gonna work, and it's probably not gonna work shortly. So let's do what we can, right? Now, usually what I do is I put it into the corner like this, and this is just like one of those tricks to get it like a higher score. So run. Let's see how much wattage this thing's pushing. 1225, 1266, almost 1300, 1268, 1268 watts. That is awesome. And we're at 35,000. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually do another run. So I guess just blasting it with voltage is what to do, huh? Oh, I think we're going to have to do this before we hit cold bugs, so let's do that. We're going to run it again. This thing, I can't believe how much wattage is pushing. 1243, 1248, 1246, 1251. Wow, almost 35,189. All right, let's go back in the Ryzen Master again. Dude, that's crazy. 1,300 watts. So I'm thinking Alan did around 5.2. So that means he was pushing like 1,500 watts, dude. That's crazy. All right, let's go 4.8, right? Go big or go home, right? All right. Dun, dun, dun. It's crazy. So I'm wondering if the meter calibration is what killed me this time. Funny, it took me that long to figure that out. This is what's happening in IT industry. If you ever want to get into the IT, just information technology in general. So I've worked in basically over 20 years, probably like 22 years by now, doing IT work. And if you don't like to troubleshoot, then you shouldn't be in IT. That's pretty much what it is. Because you could have one character wrong in a piece of code somewhere, and it just causes a whole lot of problems. And you have to have patience to be able to work with this stuff. Because if you don't, I wouldn't suggest entering into this field. Because it can be quite a pain, if you know what I'm saying. Alright, so we're going to try 4.8. Who thinks 4.8 is going to work? I think 4.8 might work. I don't know. I think our temps right now are pretty cool. Save profile. All right, so we're at 4.8 gigahertz. I'm gonna get it down. Gotta pour some liquid nitrogen in it. Oh yeah, L2 and drink the mug on the safe, brave man. Yeah, see? All right, let's try. Come on, 4.8. 4.8, let's see how many wattage. 1100. Oh, it failed. We probably need more juice. Not juice, like more voltage, sorry. Juice is liquid nitrogen if you don't know. That's my little nickname for it. It's the good stuff. 50 easy, 4.9 broski. No, we're having an issue, so 4.7 is the highest that we got. I might have to jump the voltage a little bit. Let's try 1.55. Alright, so let's go R20. Sometimes if you run multiple times, R20 just goes to crap. I don't know why on this setup. So let's see, we're at minus 63. I'm gonna see what we can get. It's amazing watching the watt meter. I need to get something from John at Aylmore Labs. 911. Oh, so we hit about 1,200 watts, but it's not liking it. I'm wondering if we lowered a little bit, but we might have to call it here, slackers. I don't know. Let's try something. But we're a lot better. We went from 4.4 to only being able to run 4.4 to be running 4.7 nicely. So we're looking on up. We're looking a little bit better. Every stream we always want to progress, right? So let's go like this. Let's go a little bit lower voltage. I don't know. Might work, might not. Who knows? You don't know until you try. Maybe we're actually too cold too. That could be an issue, you know. Let's see. So 67. I'm gonna run. Yeah, completely turned off. I think we're having to. I gotta figure out these cold issues, but I think that's gonna be roughly it, guys. It didn't like the voltage, so it wanted higher voltage. Yeah, and then I'm gonna end up heating it. And to be honest, there's a lot of water that's starting to develop on the chip, so I don't know if I want to try to risk this a little bit more. I want to make sure we can go to the next stream. You want to be careful because you don't want to push your luck sometimes. A lot of problems problems that people run into is that they don't shut down when they should, and there's always that fine line when you should and when you shouldn't. This is a time that I probably should. What I'm gonna do is for next stream, what we'll do is we'll hook up the heater and we'll do a different power supply to that, so that way we can control it differently. That way they're not running on the same circuit also. So we're gonna do that. I'm gonna start playing with the stream box, you know, the stream deck, so that way I can just hit the button and I don't have to try to fumble around with stuff. And then we're gonna mess with audio a little bit, try to get the audio a little bit better when it comes to with the torch and stuff. I know it's a little bit rough right now, but yeah. But yeah, I think we're gonna go and we're gonna actually just kill this for now, guys. Slackers, you guys are amazing. Thanks for coming and checking it out on this Monday. And we're going to do a bunch of stuff on Wednesday. So figure Wednesday we're going to do something. I might end up doing something on Thursday. Friday is my son's first birthday. So Friday is going to be a slack day. So we're going to have to try to figure that out. Maybe what we'll do is we'll do a stream on Thursday maybe. I don't know. I'm going to have to figure this out. I don't know. Stay tuned. We're going to do a couple streams this week. Definitely Wednesday, without a doubt. We'll definitely do Wednesday, just not sure on the other one. Saturday, definitely we're doing. Friday is, I don't know. It's my son's birthday, so I'm gonna spend time with him. So that's what's important to me. But you guys are important to me too, and hey, thanks for coming. I appreciate you guys. Make sure you like, subscribe, follow YouTube and Twitch. Make sure if you are missing streams constantly, make sure you check out Twitter, Instagram, any of those. You can always find out on Twitter what I'm doing. So make sure you go there. And if you always want to, and if you want to have more interaction with me on those Slack days and stuff like that, make sure you join Patreon, patreon.com Bearded Hardware, because on there we basically we have the Slacker Army. So if you're doing builds or if you want to get into liquid nitrogen stuff, we got a great group of the Slacker Army over there. So they'll help you out. I'll help you out. Yeah, we'll have a good time. So. But yeah, I just wanted to say thank you guys for slacking with me today. I hope your weeks go great, or the rest of your week goes great. I know it's Monday, but hey, before you know, it will be Friday. But we're going to have a stream at least on Wednesday, maybe even earlier. I don't know. It's kind of been lately, I've just kind of been like, let's stream and get to it. So, guys, it's been great. I don't know. I think it's time to go. So, slacker out. Later, slackers. I'll see you next time. Stay cool, stay frosty. Oh, I kind of like that, stay frosty. So, but yeah, slacker out, stay frosty. Woo-hoo-hoo.